Hi there, my name's Donghua. One of the most frustrating things to deal with when you're trying to rank up is low LP gains. When you win a game and you only get 10 points, but then you lose a game and you lose 20 points. I'm sure this has happened to a lot of you, and it's very discouraging from playing ranked, isn't it? Why does this happen? Why, when I win 3 games in a row, do I only gain 10 per win? And why do I lose all of it in just one game? How do I fix this, and why does it occur? I'm going to tell you how the matchmaking system works, how your league points are calculated, and how you can actually fix it to go back to normal. But before I do that, there's a few things you have to understand, and one of those things is MMR. MMR stands for Matchmaking Rating. It is the single most important number to a ranked player. Your MMR determines who you play with, how much LP you gain or lose, and in the long term, what rank you're going to be. So how do you find out your MMR? Well, you can't. For certain reasons, Riot, a while back, has decided that MMR, the most important rank stat, is not worth showing to people. Now, there are third-party websites such as op.gg to help you get a general estimation of your MMR, but it will never be 100% accurate. This is because Riot has not released the specific formula for how they calculate your MMR. Now, if you ask Riot for the specific formula, they won't actually give it to you. They'll just tell you what they told me, which is it's based off the ELO system and that they've made certain changes to it, but we can't share those changes. I really don't know why Riot has decided to keep such an important thing a secret. Maybe the ELO system was never really meant for team games and it's fundamentally flawed and Riot knows this. Maybe their formula is the secret to why League of Legends is so popular and addictive. Maybe there are specific actions that affect your MMR, such as buying more wards or securing barons, and Riot doesn't want you to know because that will change your playstyle. The original reason that Riot gave us as to why they changed from an MMR system to a tier system is because they were saying that the numbers were making people stressed out and anxious about ranked, which is completely ridiculous. Ranked solo queue is fucking stressful no matter what. That's something you cannot change. It's not stressful 100% of the time, but it will get stressful eventually. Ranked is one of those things you just cannot make unstressful. It's like graduating for the first time, or having sex for the first time, or masturbating in public. We all do that, right? It's a competition. You're competing with other people. It's going to get stressful no matter what. It doesn't matter if you tell someone you're 1200 ELO or you're silver 3, people will still get stressed out. You want to know what I think? Here's what I think. It's probably correct, okay? Riot won't release their MMR formulas because Riot's MMR formulas are actually a cure for cancer. And Riot doesn't want to cure cancer because Riot knows that if no one has cancer, no one would play League of Legends. That's just a fact. I mean, everyone knows that. Anyway, how does your MMR affect your gain or your loss? Let's say that you're in Gold 5. Now, the average MMR for a Gold 5 player is 1350. If you're in Gold 5 and your rating is 1350, then you will play against a team whose average is also 1350. If you manage to beat this team, you will gain an average amount of LP, which is about 15 or so, and you will gain a slight MMR increase. If you have a very high win percentage, your MMR can change faster than your rank. If you've been on a huge win streak, you could be in Gold 4, but you could have Gold 1 MMR. This is how division skipping occurs. When your MMR is way higher than the average MMR of your current division. If you're in Gold 4 and you have Gold 2 MMR, the rank system isn't going to bother putting you into Gold 3. They're just going to say, you already have the potential to play with these players, so we're just going to skip you ahead to try and place you where you belong faster. Now, on the other hand, if your MMR is lower than the average of your divisions, you'll gain very little LP and lose a ton of LP. Let's say you're in Gold 5 and you only have 1300 MMR. What happens is you're playing not against Gold players anymore, you're playing against Silver players, Silver 1 and Silver 2 players, and the system expects you to win those because you're in Gold and they're in Silver. You're supposed to be able to beat them. So if you do beat these players, you only gain a small amount of LP because it reflects how easy the match should have been for you. In other words, if you want to gain more LP, you have to play against players who have an MMR that is higher than the average MMR in your current division. You have to be able to consistently stomp on people of the previous division if you want any sort of chance to get to the next one. If you can't beat players who have MMRs lower than your division's average, you'll lose more points. This is how the league system decides where you're going to be and where your rank is. If you can't perform against people whose MMRs are lower than the average of your division, you no longer belong in that division. So how do I increase my MMR? How do I make this invisible number go up for me? Well, other than the obvious advice, which is get better at the game, one thing that has really helped me to overcome these clamps is not to think about my rank. While your MMR is lower than the average of your current divisions, you won't really see any meaningful changes in your LP. Because if you lose 1 while your MMR is still lower than your division's average, you'll pretty much lose most of the LP you've grinded. You cannot become discouraged by this. Because one thing that you don't see happening is that your MMR is still increasing. If you're winning a good majority of your games, your MMR will still slowly increase. Once your MMR goes back to the average of your current divisions, then the LP changes will smooth out and go back to normal. Look at it this way. Pretend for a second that you're Spider-Man. And pretend that you want to be in the Avengers. And pretend the MMR system is the Avengers. I know I'm stretching here, but hear me out. Alright, so I'm Spider-Man right now, and I go to the Avengers and I say, hey, I want to join you guys, right? And then the Avengers look at me and say, oh, we don't know if you're really Avengers material. Alright, let's put you through some tests. We'll throw 10 waves of thugs and goons at you that you should be able to beat. Now, if you can't consistently beat these guys, then you're definitely not Avengers material, okay? Just think about MMR clamps as Spider-Man proving himself to the Avengers. Don't worry about your LP gain or your LP loss. Just worry about, am I getting better at this? Am I getting better at what I'm doing? Is my CS higher? Do I have less deaths? Do I have more kill participation? Do I have better map awareness? So long as you're improving, your MMR will also improve as well. That's how MMR works.